Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Speed Force Racing round 12 around Spa, once I remember how to speak. My name is Lord JB13, and I should normally be down in the Haas garage, but I'm not tonight because I'm up here in a nice warm commentary box, dry commentary box actually, with one aha Danny. Danny, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. It's a lovely weather, I can see. So that'll make some good racing tonight. How is everyone? Hope you're all well.
Well, we had a funny 5 minutes earlier. It was quite a tense time as we had a lot of, once I remember how to set up my comms setup, we had a lot of, a few moments with everyone. I've just got the info from the weather down there. By the looks of it, it's wet. I couldn't tell. Dry, wet race. Okay, we're going to have an interesting one tonight. So, there was a big, well, I won't say a big change, but there was a lot of a change to do with commentary. I will be hopefully doing commentary for the rest of the season. Danny is just filling in. He may be rejoining us later on in the season because we like Danny a lot. How are you tonight, Danny?
I'm alright, so a bit short notice, but I don't mind it. The little baby's just gone to sleep, so I've got a bit of free time. But yeah, let's have heard a bit about this Speed Force Racing, and I know my league here, URL, Unofficial Racing League, is we've done an event before with you guys, and I was at work at that time, but I did view it, and that was interesting. So I'm interested to see standard of driving tonight from Speed Force.
Well, let's hope we can impress you with our driving standards in the wet and the wet-dry race that we have prone for us. As most people will know, I adore the wet on this game. I love driving in it. I do wish I was down in my house, but it's too much effort tonight as it's my birthday and I've had a few. Which is a complete lie because I don't drink. So, the championship status right now. Noak is leading away on 162 points away from Josh Fletcher, who took last race out, which was 2 weeks ago, as he took it out as he was down at the pub. Techno Thriller is in third and Humbug is in fourth. Lee now finishes out the top 5, and that's all we know right now, except for VSR Marquez, who has won 3 out of 3 of the races he's been in. Is currently in sixth even. He's going to be rapid tonight. He's going to have a good time. And I've just seen what he's put in the chat, which I will not repeat. So, Spa, Danny. Cruel Mistress in the wet or flowing track?
Flowing track, Cruel Mistress through on Rouge. That's what I'd say.
Is Eau Rouge and Radion. On this game, you can lose a lot of time as Joshua Fletcher goes wide, but he comes back on track. Lucky him, that could have spelled ending. It could have spelled a big end for his qualifying effort. But no, on this game, Eau Rouge can be a cruel mistress. You can lose as much time, or you can gain loads if you nail it. I recall last season, I absolutely nailed this lap to start P3 for my effort last season.
Just spectating Josh Fletcher now. But yeah, like you said, it's make or breakthrough on Rouge, especially in the rain, because you can gain so much time or lose so much time.
Well, I tell you what, sorry to interrupt you, but Blood and Sands has gone for the brake option. Unfortunately, he has ploughed it into the wall at Radion. And, Jade as well. She's ploughed it into the wall at Sector 2. I believe that's after Puon. Oh, why am I clicking that button? So, still on board with Joshua Fletcher. Sorry to interrupt you, Danny. Where were you?
That's fine, just a make or break for on Rouge, but yeah, it's who am I spectating now? I'm just spectating Techno Thriller as he goes up, slowing down, keeping it steady, nice and neat. Bit slow, but he's still alive, so that's a bonus. You don't crash into the wall.
Techno is on an outlap, actually.
Is he? Well,
yeah.
You get a lot of that from me. I don't know what I'm on about. I'm just here for the banter.
Oh, well, we're here because we're the pretty ones. So Joshua Fletcher seems to have had a pretty okay lap. Few slides there, here and there. No DRS at this track in the wet. And Josh goes second behind VSR Marquez. So in this league, we have a Mark Marquez and a Lewis Hamilton. Should be interesting. Honey Badger just starting a lap. We shall join him later on in a lap. Who are you looking at right now, Danny?
Right now, I've just clicked to Smelly Badger, and he's just come through past turn 1, going on Rouge now. Just every time I flick on someone, they seem to be going up there. But yeah, now he's kept it nice and neat. Just I'm still learning the standard of each driver, because in every league you've got your good ones and your aggressive ones, your bad ones, and yeah, no, it all looks neat. Looks neat and tidy from all of you so far.
Well, they always aim to please the commentary team. Don't want to give us too much jobs in hand, but happy days. We should see what's happening. So, a wet qualifying session. This is a time where you can absolutely destroy these tyres and hope for the best. As it should be a dry start to the race, from what I've heard, unless I'm misreading what I've heard. So in this situation, Danny, would you go for a dry setup or a wet setup, knowing that the race could potentially be a bit wet?
I think I'd go for a dry setup, and the bonus of running wet tyres and all is you can get away with a couple more laps with fuel. You can just take it easy, take it a bit steadier than you would in the dry. I think I'd run a couple laps. I just wouldn't do one fast lap. I think I'd go for a
Oh, Smelly Badger having a moment. Sorry to interrupt you. He hit the curb hard coming towards Blanchimont, but luckily he keeps the car pointed in a straight line. He could easily have spanned that. Yeah, sorry, do go on, Danny.
No, I think I'd just run an extra lap with the fuel, take it easy, run a dry setup, and I think I'd hope to gain a couple of places that I might have lost in qualifying during the race.
It is that big question of who's running a dry setup, who's running a wet setup, because arguably you can knock up the front wing a few times here at Spa, and you've got a wet setup. So
such a quick lap though, such a quick lap. For me, it'd be low aero. I'd be running low to mid, and these straights are too long. You can gain so much time from it, but it's I mean, 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. You run good aero, you're gonna pick up speed in the corners. But me, I reckon I'd go probably mid aero, and play it safe and quality.
I mean, you can make up time on the straights anyway in it, and strategy is going to come into a thing as I see Techno Thriller almost drifting through Blanchimont. Luckily, he keeps the car pointed in a straight line coming around. It looks to be a reasonably quick lap, even though he's pitting.
What's the rule of thumb with Speed Force on the safety car? Do you guys run it or not?
We do not run the safety car due to too many issues. Actually, last season it cost me a win, which was unfortunate. Oh. But we do run a formation lap.
Bit of subjects. Yeah.
So we have Ollie P now. Now he's got a, I believe that's Humbug. Yes, it is Humbug in a Sauber ahead of him, who's just come out of the pits. Ollie P is on a lap. So Humbug theoretically should move to the right and let Ollie P through. This is going to be difficult, but I think if Ollie's on a quick lap, he should always let him through. If he blocks him, then it's going to be a trip to the stewards.
He's not giving in, he's going for it.
He most certainly is not. I mean, you have 2 minutes left of the lap. This is crunch time. Everyone will be coming out on their laps to get one lap in. I mean, look at the times. The people who are going to be crossing the line in about 10 seconds will only have one more lap to do. Sector 2, we have a yellow flag in. That's Yuzi. Oh, he's retired from the session. He must not have thought he had enough time to go quicker. Chopper has retired too. I believe that's in the pit lane. So that's people saying that they've done their laps, 2 minutes now, and that's it. You've got one lap in unless you're Marquez's pace.
I've just noticed the 7 drivers that haven't actually set a lap time yet.
Techno Thriller, Carlos, Honey Badger, Ollie, and Gamey. Ollie, having a moment, cutting across the grass. Oof, that was a scary moment. And I've just realised we're looking at my car. How jealous am I? But still, Ollie P coming down TTL Maze, calling it now. He's had enough. He thinks 9th place will be good enough. Ollie P now getting ready to cross the line through the bus stop chicane. Would be opening DRS. There is no DRS. And he goes 12th. Well done, Ollie P, on, I believe, his second Speed Force qualifying session. On board now with gamey things coming through. Eau Rouge. Oh, little slide. Keeps it going, though. I believe he's on a lap, and so is Noak, the championship leader, just ahead in the Mercedes.
Very quick time by Marquez.
That is an insanely quick time. Under 2 minutes is very difficult in the wet here at Spa. I mean, it's one of the only tracks. I think Silverstone is the only track that could reasonably be the one to touch a 2 minute time. He's now retiring. I believe that's in the pit lane. No, Sector 2. I think he's retired on track, but no rule against that right now. So Noak, championship leader on his lap. Just coming through the zone where the McLaren is parked up. Oh, the wind kicking all of that air, all of the rain onto his visor. He's going to be struggling in these conditions, but he knows what he's doing. He's a championship leader for one reason. He's quick. All conditions now coming down towards Blanchimont. This is the fastest point in the track, and I love this part of the track. I adore it. Down, make sure he's okay. He stays on track. Good man, Noah, getting a lot of downforce to keep him stable. The Gort is in second place. Well done, the Gort. He's had a string of podiums, I believe, recently in things I've commentated on. Oh, Noah with a big slide coming across the line now and takes fourth. It's not quick enough to be beaten. It's not quick enough to beat his main championship rival, Joshua Fletcher, who's still on a lap.
Will Joshua Fletcher move up to second, but the time is minimal. You're talking, I don't know, it's close anyway, but will he keep second here? Let's have a look.
Coming across the line now, and he doesn't! Oh! The championship protagonist starting third and fourth! VSR Marquez takes pole position here in Belgium. Carlos in the Ferrari, reserving for T. Jonas, is having a Renault in front of him. Marquez goes even quicker. A 1:58.4. That is unheard of. But back to the action we see on track right now. You see not VSR Marquez, Carlos and S. Graham now. Carlos on a quick lap. I'm assuming S. Graham too. Carlos will not be pleased to be stuck behind S. Graham on this lap, though he will be grateful for the tow coming into the straights, even though they get a little bit close. Don't touch, you'll get a 5-place grid penalty, gentlemen. Coming across the line now. Carlos goes sixth, displacing Humbug. Well done, Carlos. That was an interesting 15 minutes there.
Probably could have gone a bit quicker out of that last turn if he didn't have traffic, but he
did.
Good shout.
So the grid is as standing. VSR Marquez on pole position with GP1 Hamilton in third. The Gort a surprise with GP1 Hamilton in second. Sorry, the Gort taking third in only his third drive. Well done, the Gort. Joshua Fletcher and Noak line up in fourth and fifth. Carlos in sixth. Humbug in seventh. Lee Nell in eighth. Gamey Things in ninth, and Chopper in 10th. I will get to the rest of the top 10 as we head to the grid. But that was interesting. Again, for a wet qualifying session, it is the question of who's running what. Skip that, because I will get in trouble. Here we are. So good luck to all the racers who will be competing in this very, well, dry at the moment session. And all of these drivers will be on dry tyres. Dry tyres? Fresh tyres? I don't know what I'm on about. Of course it's going to be dry tyres.
Is it going to rain? Is that what they're saying? Is it going to rain towards the back end of the race?
I have been told it will be wet. It will be a dry to wet race. Now I'm not sure how soon it will be, but we'll have to just keep watching. The interesting thing will be when it will be what tyres they start on now. Because if it's coming in 5 laps, going on the soft tyres, they work better in lower temperatures. They'll be able to go quicker. So here we go. So a formation lap here in Belgium as VSR Marquez leads the grid away on this formation lap with Hamilton in second. The Gort in third in that Silver Arrow Mercedes, and the McLaren in fourth of Joshua Fletcher. He's splitting the 2 Mercedes because there's Noah in fourth. Carlos in his first ride out as a reserve for T. Jonas in the Ferrari is in 6th. Humbug in the Sauber is 7th. Linnell in the McLaren, and the second McLaren is in 8th. Gaming Things leading Force India's charge in 9th, with SFR Chopper, my old teammate, in the Haas in 10th. Ollie P, in my old car, is in 11th, with S. Graham in 12th. Smelly Badger in 13th, and Alan K, remember his name, not Alank. Alan K in the Toro Rosso is in 14th. Yuzi in that McLaren, that's a McLaren apparently. It's in the Renault is in 15th. Mays is in 16th in the Red Bull. His teammate Blood and Sands is in 17th. Techno Thriller, the world champion, the reigning world champion, down in 18th place. BDS Jade Rios in 19th, and Honey Badger, unfortunately, holding off the grid, holding off the end of the grid. So, as we get ready to start the race, let's look at the tyre compounds everyone is using. See anything out of the ordinary there, Danny?
I'm looking at Noak. Noak is it's the only one in the top. Let's see, it's the only one in the top 10, 11, 12. Let's have a look. Is he the only one? He's the only one on the grid that's actually running the Ultra Softs.
See, now everyone there must be playing the game saying, okay, it's going to rain, let's run the harder tyres. And Noak, oh no, we'll go on the softer tyres. I'm quick on the inters, I know that. So, maybe Noak is thinking that it's not going to rain enough for intermediate tyres. But then again, he's still going to be in a different position, isn't he?
Most of the front runners are running the softs. Sorry, the super softs. And then majority of the back ends are running the, just about all the back end, apart from a couple, are running the softs. But yeah, most of the top 10 running the super softs. It'll be interesting to see when it rains, because that's when it's going to be make or break. Who's going to get the undercut? Who's going to be able to drive in the rain? It's going to be interesting.
It most certainly will do. So as we line up now for 5 red lights here in Spa. VSL Marquez on pole with GP1 Hamilton in second place, De Gort in third, and the 2 championship protagonists, Josh Fletcher and Noak, in 4th and 5th respectively. Let's get ready to go racing here in Belgium. So we line up 5, 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. It's over, not going to go anywhere, but here we go. They're all going like for it, and there's Noak looking towards the inside. We've got an awful camera angle, but Marcus leads around. Noak into second place from 4th. What a start! Hamilton into 3rd, the Gord in 4th. There's a little bit of pushing at the back. I think there's damage. We're down now through Eau Rouge for the first time ever. The concertina effect. Everyone being careful. They're all good. Carlos getting past Humbug, Ollie P. Looks like they're all through Eau Rouge with no damage. Uzi stop go penalty for ignoring a yellow flag may not have been his problem, but Noah makes a move with who's that? Hamilton. He's passed. He's in second place. What a start from Noak. Look at Honey Badger though. He started in 20th position. He's now in 14th. Ollie P and Gaming Things having a battle. Will join them in a moment. SFR Chopper joining them too. We'll just pop down and have a look. Ollie P must have made a mistake because he's dropped now behind Humbug, but still ahead of his teammate in the Haas. But going to jump back up because there's no work. Having a look.
We've seen Josh Fletcher's just moved up from 5th to 4th. See, is it Gort ran a bit wide and he managed to slip it up the inside.
That's good. Right now, it's crucial not to make any mistakes. No one will want to be risking changing their front wings at this point in the race. With the rain coming, you want to keep your wing as intact as possible. Right now, Marquez's only job is to keep Noak behind him so he doesn't build a gap on those ultra soft tyres. Going down towards the bus stop to complete lap 1. Noak is 0.3 seconds away from Marquez. Here we go. Onto lap 2. 2 laps into this Grand Prix. Marquez sets the pace with a 1:49.2, but that's only the first lap of the race. Is Noah going to be able to get past on this lap? Marquez is very quick, even on the super soft tyres versus the ultra soft tyres. He's gapping a little bit, running a little bit more, a little bit less aero, so he's sliding through the corners a little bit better. Here comes the Mercedes, though, going to go on board now. On board with Noah, championship leader, having a look. Marquez pulling to the right straight away, pulling to the left again. Yep, he knew that Noah wasn't going to get a chance. Jade Rios, 3-second penalty, sector 1, and yes, Graham's gone. Oh, it's at the edge of Eau Rouge as well. That's a cruel mistress for her, and S. Graham will be bitterly disappointed for that event, for that crash to have happened there at a corner that you do never want to get wrong. But then again, for the lead, here comes Nowak looking at VSR Marquez. He wants the back end of that Sauber to be behind him. He doesn't want to be there. A Mercedes belongs in front, he says. No, the Sauber wants to be there first.
Oh, nice little battle for second, and Humbug's just clipped the back of, I think it was Carlos B, spinning, and his front left suspension's broken. He's out of the race.
Oh, that's
Humbug's
unfortunate
out
for Humbug. But here we go for the lead of the race. So right now, we've got GP1 Hamilton in 3rd place. He's trying to fend off Joshua Fletcher. They've had a little bit, they're trying to stay away, but here comes Nowak. Is he going to be able to make move? He makes move down into the inside of the bus stop. Marquez, they get it stopped properly. Marquez goes to stretch back, but that's a move for the lead. And Nowak wins. S. Graham's left, so that Nowak wins. Nowak wins that battle, but S. Graham's left possession. That could possibly mean that these drivers are now in a difficult position. Blood and Sands has retired, but S. Graham leaving and Humbug leaving may mean that we've just lost. Oh, Blood and Sands has been hit off at Blanchimont by the looks of it. But this might mean that the drivers... It's raining.
It's raining. I can see raindrops.
It is. I've just come on board with VSR Marquez. It has started raining. Everyone on the harder compacted tyres. Ooh, Noah, you've made the wrong decision, mate. Techno Frida, 3-second penalty. Just carry on with what I was saying there, which I can't even remember what I was saying. What was I saying again? I do apologise.
I don't know. Would this not benefit Nowak in running the Ultra Softs? This benefits him, doesn't it?
It could if he can run it to the time when the intermediates come out, but the people on soft tyres... I wouldn't know. We need to see how much it rains. But the people on soft tyres, the softer tyres work better. The harder tyres, work better in the rainy conditions, so they can go a little bit longer versus when Nowak will be starting to struggle on those ultra soft tyres.
Do you know how long you can run a set of ultra softs before he'll need to pit?
Oh, I wouldn't know if he's done battling like this, and he's going to have to continue because Marquez is still catching him on those soft tyres. I think it's going to be. Go on.
If this rain comes down, like sooner than later, this will benefit Nowak.
It will, because Marquez won't be able to get to use the full life of his tyres.
And he's got clean air as well.
He most certainly does. Car number 69, though, coming after car number 40. DRS wide open as DRS was enabled last lap. Will they? We don't know how long DRS is going to be enabled, but we'll have to wait and see. The drivers will know, obviously, they'll have their engineers in their rear. Oh, it's getting a little bit wet. Just be careful out there. Sector 3, yellow flags. I think that's Carlos. Can you just have a look at that, please, Danny?
Carlos, yeah. I just caught the back end of it. I think he, I don't know, it looks like he didn't make the entrance to the pits, but he's in now.
Okay, so Carlos making an early stop. Definitely not planned. Is he having a front wing change?
I reckon so. Let's have a look at the camera angle. You can't
I'll tell you what, sorry to interrupt you, but Honey Badger, the gentleman who started in 20th position, is currently in 7th place. This could be Honey's first clean race in Speed Force. He's had a few first lap collisions. I think he's made it through all on his own without having any issues. He's looking down the inside at the corner just before No Name. On Ollie P on the Haas car, the Williams just edging out in front. Honey Badger passing the Haas car in glorious fashion, heading towards Pouon.
That was a beautiful overtake. Class of driving that was.
Certainly was. Jade Rios is in the pits as well. It's definitely not time for intermediates. We can tell that from the stream, even though we don't have the weather up. We're just going off eyes. It's not even time for intermediates yet. But look at this. Look at how close Marquez is on the harder compound tyres to Noack, and yet he's still staying this close to him. Jade is on intermediate tyres. That is a too early call. That is most definitely too early there. It's not wet enough for intermediates, not yet. But Marquez now on the attack, going after Noack. GP1 Hamilton in third, and Josh Fletcher getting closer in fourth. Not wanting to lose anything because he knows he's quick in the wet round here. Even though I think I might have destroyed his race last season, I can't really remember. But here comes Marquez. Noack made a mistake at Eau Rouge, and Marquez passes and has DRS. And he's just streaking away. Look at that. Fantastic move. Sector 1 and 2, there's been yellow flags. I believe that might be a car who's... Oh, hang on. Was that a car backwards there?
Was that Jade? I see it was a Pink Force India.
It was Jade who put on the intermediate tyres way too early, as we said, so she has been disqualified for reversing on track. That is very unfortunate, and she will not be happy with that. I'm sorry, Jade. I know you watch the streams, but you put the tyres on too early, and it just didn't work out. I understand it's a panic move. I've done it many times, but still. Sometimes the engineer might be wrong. Time to listen to him sometimes. But hey-ho, it's happened.
Live and learn. You got to take a gamble sometimes. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for you there, but live and learn.
Yep. So, as we drop down to Lee Nell and SFR Chopper, let's go have a look at some different cars for once. Instead of the leaders, Lee Nell running no brake assist. He's got Smelly Badger, the Williams, very close to his back end now. Now, Smelly Badger is on those soft tyres, so we can see now how much more grip the softs have in the wet. Gamey Things has left the session, even though he's racing. Maybe an internet issue there. Oh, Smelly Badger on the grass, having a little bit of a mess up there. Hopefully he's alright. Doesn't look like there's any damage on his car. Not at all, but he's still going. He's lost a lot of time, though, to Lee now. Let's jump up to SFR Chopper. Just shout if you see anything that we need to look at, Danny.
Can do. There's a consistently close. The 7th, 8th and 9th are fighting for 7th. Yeah, I saw that with Smelly Badger. A bit unfortunate. Lost a bit of traction. Quite lucky he didn't get any damage then and all when he hit the barrier, but... yeah, no, it's quite close between 7th, 8th and 9th. They're all consistently staying close to one another, so I'm keeping my eye on that ball.
Certainly is. Here comes the Haas teammates. TTL Maze has been passed by Techno Thriller and Smelly Badger by the looks of it. Let's just make sure I have the chat up on my phone so I know what everyone's saying. But here we go. Sorry, just opening the chat midway through reading it. I will be reading that periodically, so if you have any questions, just put it in the chat and I should be able to read it as best I can. So, SFR Chopper is hunting down his teammate Ollie P now, who is hopefully looking after my car. Please don't crash it. I like that car. But 7th, 8th and 9th, as Danny said, all very close together. Lank, Alan K, get his name right, has just passed Smelly Badger too. So has Smelly Badger actually got damage? Let's have a nose. He does. He's missing a part of his the right side of his cascade element, so he's dropping like a fly. But he's got to eke it out now until the intermediate tyres come into play. So on board now with TTL Maze, who's hunting down Lee Nell in that McLaren. He's going to have a shot now on the McLaren. Is he going to get past him on the run to Blanchimont? Is this Verstappen on NASA? He doesn't stay in there. He's having a look though. He's got so much more grip on these soft tyres. But look at the gap now to Marquez and oh, Lee's gone deep though. Here comes Maze. He's passed him because Lee went too deep and locked up in the chicane, I believe. But this opens up Techno Thriller, the previous champion, Season 1 champion, to get past Lee Nell. I tell you what, here we go. This is the real test up here. GP1 Hamilton, if you could just keep a look on GP1 Hamilton and Noack for me, while I go back down to this SFR Chopper fight, it would be helpful for me, Danny.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just watching Chopper and Ollie. Chopper got real close, but he lost a bit of time to return one and drop back a bit. I'll keep my eye on Hamilton and Fletcher for you, mate.
Thank you, sir. So, I'm on board now watching Techno, wanting to get past that McLaren for the final points-paying position. But is he going to be able to, coming into the tight, twisty section of Sector 2? He needs to get past him and get close to TTL Maze. Oh, Lee's going wide. He must be struggling on those tyres. But then again, Techno's on the same tyres, in the same conditions. Lee pulling to the inside. He's let him through as he knows that Techno's going to be quicker than him. Better to let him through than to battle and waste his time if he knows he's got the pace.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jack, but I tell you what, Hamilton is getting real close to the back of Noack now. I don't know if he's struggling on those ultra softs or what, but he is getting real close. This will be interesting coming through bus stop.
Take us through the move. Give us a good commentary of the move for us. Oh, he doesn't yet.
Yeah. Oh, Noack runs deep.
Noack's in.
He's gone into the pits.
Oh, keep an eye on Noack. So that promotes... Who's that? That promotes Hamilton to second place, and Joshua Fletcher on his return to racing after having a week out to third.
Right, there we go. Right, Noack is now he's switched to the intermediates.
See, this is interesting. That's what Noack was hoping. Hoping it would come quicker, but it hasn't. Usually 3-second time penalty. Noack is going to have to fight through traffic though, and all the people on the soft tyres, they're going to be gleaming. Look at Honey Badger. I can't say it enough. He started in 20th position. He's now in 5th. Ah, okay. I'm having a bit. Oh dear, I'm having Christmas tyres. Ollie P has retired. Let's have a look at that. Oh, he's lost to the La Rouge.
Noack 3-second time penalty for running wide through on Rouge.
Now, Alan Kay has joined him on the intermediates. I believe I'm getting Christmas tree tyres, as I would call it on my streams, where it says they're on soft tyres, where it changes tyres on the car, though it's rather stable right now. Noack may be in a good position, but here's the real test. He's been passed now. Yeah, it might be too early. Ollie P has left the session, which normally means that Slipstream has gone, which is thanks to a bug from Codemasters. Unfortunately, that was not fixed in their multiplayer patch, which they released a few months ago. But Noack, has he has he made the call too early?
I don't think he had any other choice. If those ultra softs was going, he's got to take a gamble. He can't afford to go in the pits twice. He's going to lose a bit of time going to these a bit early, but if those tyres was gone, he had no choice. Oh, he's losing. The traction's real bad on these.
He has. We just caught that. No, it's not wet enough yet. It seems that everyone on the dry tyres. Let's have a look down at Alan Kay and Yuzi. Alan Kay, the Irishman, on the intermediate tyres, on the green-walled Pirelli tyres, is he struggling just as much as Noack? I believe he is, you know. Yeah, he seems a little bit more controlled. Noack has been passed by Techno Thriller. Noack's in the pits now. So championship leader in the pits. He's got half a front wing. He's going on to another set of intermediate tyres. He believes that they're the right tyres. Let's go on board with the Gort, though, who's having a look now. He wants to get past Josh Fletcher. Lee Nell's in the pits, if you just keep an eye on Lee Nell as well.
Lee Nell has gone in the pits and he's come out on a set of softs. So he doesn't believe he'd come out just ahead of Noack as well. So if we keep an eye on the distance between Noack and Lee Nell, we'll see what tyres are the right choice. Sorry
to interrupt you, mate. Smelly Badger has had a massive accident on the way to Blanchimont, and he's taken his rear tyre off. Oh man, that's gonna hurt.
Carlos B's in the pits, and
we got Christmas tree tyres. Right, we've got Christmas tree tyres, which is a visual bug for in spectator mode, if you don't know what I mean, where the tyres will change colours. Right now, Lee Nell is on soft tyres, though it says on our board that he is on inters. So, in this situation, we normally go off what the tower on our left-hand side would say, and it says he's on inters, so I'm assuming he's on intermediate tyres.
and Lee Nell's just hit the back of Uzi.
Has he? Or
It,
are you talking
on
about
my
Josh
screen.
Fletcher in the other McLaren?
No, I'm talking about Lee Nell's just running to the back of Uzi in the Renault.
See, I'm on board with Lee now, and there's no one around him. Marquez in the pits, Josh Fletcher in the pits, Hamilton coming in. Hamilton, oh no! No, that was not very good there, GP1 Hamilton.
What happened?
What he did there, he cut the inside chicane, the green, infield of the chicane to come into the pits. Almost, DRS has been disabled. It's time for intermediate tyres. But he almost made contact with Joshua Fletcher, and I believe that should go to the stewards for dangerous driving. But, oh, Honey Badger cutting top of Radion. But he's on the soft tyres. He's making a move on the Gort for the lead of the race. The Gort is going to leave him room, hopefully. He has just brought the UI off, and there we go. That shows Honey Badger has confidence in these soft tyres he's running. But now it's time for intermediate tyres. DRS has been disabled. Right now, the race leader on intermediate tyres is VSR Marquez with Josh Fletcher in second place. GP1 Hamilton, after that questionable move into the pit lane, is in third place. In that third place once the Gort and Honey Badger pit. So jumping down to Carlos in the Ferrari, once I remember my names, trying to have a look at Alan Kay in the Toro Rosso. Not brave enough to make a move, go too wide through Eau Rouge. Possibly not the best conditions to do that move. Here he comes, no DRS, you've got to do it purely off slipstream. Possibly a dive bomb coming, not enough yet, not close enough yet. Definitely the right decision. You want to be careful in these conditions, you don't want to lose your wing at all.
I just flicked on to Lee Nell, and it looked like he just had contact with TTL Mays. TTL Mays was in a spin.
He's in a spin, is he?
He was in a spin.
Oh dear.
And by looks of it, I saw contact between Lee Nell and TTL Mays.
That's unfortunate. Lee Nell running no ABS, so it might have been he locked up and just became a passenger. Here we go. I do apologise if I keep moving my headphones. Honey Badger is in the pit, so is the Gort. They're being passed, but they'll be on fresher intermediate tyres. Is there going to be such an advantage on those fresher tyres versus the guys who pitted a lap earlier? Danny?
Depends. I'm not quite sure when these intermediates, if these intermediates will last or not. They'll have an advantage anyway because they'll be on fresh, brand new tyres. So I'm just looking at Carlos G is just sitting right on the back of Alan Kay.
He definitely is. Oh, he's holding off there. He didn't lift off. He knew what he's doing. Is he going to make a move around the outside into the bus stop chicane? Can he get it slowed down enough? He does. He is now past Alan Kay for 11th position. Just a quick note, I do apologise if you hear me keep moving my mic. I have got horrific sunburn on my ears and it's very uncomfortable to wear headphones right now. But look at that, Carlos G just disappearing from Alan Kay's peripheral vision. It seems Alan Kay might be running a slightly different setup to everyone else as he's having to lift off in places that you wouldn't expect him to lift off even in the wet. Let's go back with GP1 Hamilton now in the Toro Rosso. Hunting now on that McLaren of Joshua Fletcher. These two. Now, this is the... let's run through the order quickly before anyone else gets a little bit more crazy. So in first position right now is VSR Marquez, who took pole position in the Sauber. Joshua Fletcher, a brilliant second place. He's called it right with his choice of tyres in both stints right now. GP1 Hamilton in third, that's completing the podium. The Gort is in fourth in the Mercedes. Brilliant drive from him. He's a solid driver. He knows what he's doing today. Honey Badger from 20th on is in fifth position. SFR Chopper in sixth. The lone Haas left in this race is able to continue on and get some decent points for the team. Noak, the championship leader, down in 7th after making a little bit of a mistake, going on the intermediates too early and losing part of his front wing. Techno Thriller in 8th, not for long no, because he's had to stop for Lienel. Techno Thriller into the pits though, so there's been contact where he's lost his wing. Lienel is now in 8th. TTL Mays in 9th. Techno Thriller in the pits in 10th, but Carlos, his teammate, reserving for T Jonas, is on his way now. Ooh, that's interesting. Carlos has got a broken wing as well in the other Ferrari, so he chooses not to pit due to his teammate being in the pit lane. Alan Kay is in 12th. Yep.
Just watching sorry to interrupt. Watching Techno, new front wing. Good driving as well. Slowed down. He didn't just come straight across the tracks, so that was good of him.
Top man from him.
I think my game's glitchy out because your list you're reading out is completely different to the one I've got on my screen. So standard Codemasters. Carlos B, 3-second penalty.
I've got that now. So I'll just run through the final 4-5 positions due to a lot of shifting with Techno coming into the pits. Carlos B is in 10th position, Alan Kay in 11th. Yuzi catching Alan Kay in the Renault in 12th. Techno Thriller fresh out the pit lane on fresh rubber in 13th. And finally, well, it should be Gaming Things, but I believe that he has lagged out and is unable to rejoin the session.
So it's very close. It's quite close amongst the top 3. Second and third are just over a second apart. So I'm just watching GP1 Hamilton now, about a second behind Josh Fletcher.
He has, and he won't have DRS, so he's got to pass him on pure speed or wait for Josh to make a mistake. Josh is not a driver that would normally make mistakes, but he has made a few this season. Unfortunately, one most notably in Spain, which caused it Marquez, though, with a 3-second time penalty.
Oh, lead of the race with a penalty.
I've seen it before. That's going to hang over him. Now, if Josh can close up 3 seconds and keep himself without penalties, this might get interesting. GP1 Hamilton, though, is under a second away from Josh Fletcher. But, here's the big but. VSR Marquez is 7 seconds ahead of these two. And championship leader Noak getting a 3-second time penalty himself as well. That's very unfortunate. Obviously, Spa is a cruel mistress when it comes to track limits sometimes. So, lap 13 now with VSR Marquez as our leader. So, Danny, how do you feel about the driving you've seen? Sorry to interrupt though, mate. We're not gonna have time to ask you that question, as Yuzi now coming through a Rouge. He's got very close. He's gonna pass Alan Kay. Here comes pulls to the outside. Alan Kay, fighting it. Who's ahead right now? I believe it's still Alan Kay. Alan Kay running a little bit less drag. Still holding it into the air, but Yuzi, oh, there's contact. Tyre on tyre. But Yuzi is through. Alan Kay may now lose the position to Techno Thriller. Techno Thriller following him through, but he doesn't yet. But he has. Alan Kay can seize the position to the championship, to the champion, not wanting to fight too hard there. God, they don't give us a minute to breathe, do they, Danny? But GP1 Hamilton is now close to here. Sorry, mate. You're not going to get a word in edgeways.
So I'm going to have a sip and a cup of tea.
Here we go. Toro Rosso on McLaren. No, they swapped engines for 2018, not on the 2017 game yet. Here comes Hamilton on Fletcher. Will they get past will he get past along the Kemmel Straight after Radion, or will Josh keep the position? Staying onto it. No penalties from these two, I don't believe. Josh running a little bit, they're running similar aero, and Josh staying ahead very close to each other here. There's a battle down at 12th and 13th. Could you just have a look at that, Danny, and tell us what's happening?
Let's flick down to it now, 12th and 13th. Techno Thriller and Alan Kay. You have to give me some names, mate, because my list is all over the shop. I've got Uzi and Gaming Things at 12 and 3rd.
That's unfortunate. We'll have to have a look later. But Techno Thriller has now passed Yuzi in 11th position. So that gives him a good run now. And now he's going to be targeting his teammate, Carlos, for some points. And you can see him just up the road. I do apologise that there appears to be a glitch in the lobby. But Noak now up into, I'm clicking the wrong buttons all types of ways. Noak in 7th is having a look at SFR Chopper. The Mercedes versus the Haas. The one they call the Ferrari clone versus the Silver Arrows. Championship leader versus SFR Chopper. I don't know why I'm doing likes right now, but here we go. Could you just have a pop and have a look at GP1 Hamilton and Josh Fletcher for me?
Can do.
Thank you. So, just staying on board on the stream with Noak following Chopper. Chopper having a wee moment there on the curbs. Not enough to make him a little bit worried though, with Noak on his way. So, here we go. Noak sizing up the move. He runs not enough wide. Chopper seems to be letting him through, but he's pulled to the outside. He hasn't let him through all the way. Chopper going for the switchback now. As he got it, he's alongside. Noak having a little bit of a twitch. But Noak running just so much less aero. So Noak flies away in 6th position now, getting past it. But Chopper will not want to muck about here. He wants to get past him and stay ahead of him. Meanwhile, Techno Thriller has passed his teammate for the final points, playing position.
Just watching GP1, he's sitting right on the back of Joshua Fletcher, less than half a second between them. He's chomping at the bit. He is absolutely chomping. He's struggling to get traction down. You can see his back end kicking out here and there a little bit, but he's chomping at the bit.
He certainly is. He wants that 2nd place. He can smell blood in the water. I don't believe the McLaren's got any damage. No, it hasn't. So it's just raw pace now. I don't believe either of them have penalties either. Just need to get past them. This could be a battle that goes all the way down to the end. But right now we're going to leave them and pop over to Honey Badger in the Williams, who's going after the other Mercedes of the Gort. Honey Badger there taking a nice line, not being affected by dirty air too much. The Gort seems to be following a similar line to what you would in a drive-through here, though normally you could run the karting line, which is you run any line in the wet as there's no particularly perfect racing line. Here we go, Honey Badger. Is he going to pull a Verstappen? Is he going to go round the outside of Blanchimont in the wet, even though Verstappen did it in the dry? No, he doesn't, because he's not close enough. Is he going to have a look into the bus stop? He's had a look, but he chooses not to, as they're just too close to each other. He doesn't want to take his front wheel off on the Mercedes. You see Honey Badger struggling with traction, still within 5/10 of the car ahead. Oh, the Gord having a wee slide there, still within the 5/10, just heading down towards Eau Rouge. Is it going to be a one down in the Kemmel Straight again? Shall we see on board with Honey Badger? Oh, it's going to be even before the Kemmel Straight. Here we go. Honey Badger round the outside of the Gort, passing the Mercedes. And a brilliant move there, but the Gort's coming back. Who's going to come through the corner first? No, we're getting a 3-second time penalty. It's Honey Badger. The gentleman who started in 20th place has got up to 4th position in 16 laps. Well done to him. So back on board with the main fight for 2nd place right now. As even though Honey Badger and the Gort are very close, we've got to come back to these guys because they're the closest battle on track right now. Danny, what do you see in this battle?
I'm seeing Hamilton. He's quicker. He is quicker than Fletcher. He's just struggling. He don't want to. By the looks of it, he don't want to get too close to him. But
oh my God! Techno Thriller's retired.
He's out. Techno Thriller's out.
Let's have a look. Oh, he's lost it at the end of Radion. Gonna jump all the way back up though, because it seems he's going to close it into Blanchimont. Oh, here we go, side by side. Is he going to do it? Oh, there's contact. Josh is going off track. Ooh. Josh has let him through. I believe that'll be taken to the stewards because there was contact between those two cars. It was tyre rub, yes, but it sent Joshua Fletcher off track and gave Hamilton a little bit of an advantage there.
I think Joshua Fletcher did the right move then in my eyes, backing off and giving him the position. I mean, from looking from Hamilton's point of view, there just wasn't quite a car's width there. He just ran the Hamilton ran his left tyre on the grass, I think.
I think we'll have to look back at it on the stream. Personally, I'll look back on it when I can, but Joshua Fletcher, he made a good choice because it's clear that he came off the throttle on the grass. If he had planted the throttle on the grass and kept going, he would have just just span off the tyres and gone into the wall, and his race would have been over. But he made the right call. He let Hamilton through, and he can go and argue that to the stewards if he deems it so. Lionel into the pit lane, and McLaren's teammate though. Shall we see what's happening there?
I'm interested to see if Josh Fletcher can, if he's as quick or slower or quicker than Hamilton. If he can keep up with Hamilton, I was wrong. Hamilton isn't quicker.
So 8 laps to go here in Spa, a very wet Spa, and we have to apologise for the stream being a little bit late and the event starting late due to an admin control issue. That's all I'm permitted to say, and hopefully you're enjoying the new commentary team of me, JB, and Danny, who will hopefully be jumping in and joining us whenever we need him, provided he doesn't have work.
We have Alan Kay in the pits. We have who else has just jumped in the pits? I think that was a...
oh my goodness me. Alan Kay is on the wet tyres. The extreme wet tyres, the blue sidewall tyres. This could mean that he believes it's wet enough for them. He seems to have a lot more traction, but... how are we now? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 5 laps to go. Here in Spa, maybe 6 if you count the one that they're on right now, which you probably should. Is it worth pissing for these extreme wet tyres?
We'll see. He's called... We'll keep the times. It's hard for me to... Sorry about this, people, but I'm looking at times on my spectate, and my list is all over the shot. I don't think you realise just how many glitches are in this game until you spectate.
No, you don't. Spectate mode, obviously a feature added into the game after release. Well, at least the tower was added in after the release. It wasn't... this game hasn't been the most stable, unfortunately. Let's hope that SFR Chopper getting a 3-second time penalty, but let's hope that the next game is a little bit more stable on the multiplayer side, as TTL Maze in the Red Bull comes into the pits for a set of extreme wet tyres.
I think Alan Kay has made the right decision coming in and going on the wet tyres. I mean, I don't know if he'll crawl back the 20 plus seconds or whatever it is going into the pits, but he's actually quicker than the intermediates.
They are. He's gained a lot of time on using it, I'll tell you that now. But something that has always interested me about Spa, it's such a long track, as seen by our qualifying, and yet the pit lane is reasonably short. It's just something you'd expect to see. Here's a test, to tell you what. Carlos and Maze. Maze on fresh, wet tyres. Carlos on old intermediate tyres. Which are quicker right now?
Alright. Between who? Sorry, TTL Maze and...
Carlos.
And Carlos?
Yeah. Oh, Techno Thriller starts the session. He's already crashed out though. Gaming Things Ghost has pitted, but Honey Badger on the back of Josh Fletcher now. Something we haven't been looking at is the gap coming down here. Joshua Fletcher dives into the pit lane. He's chosen to go on the extreme wet tyres. This could be the point where Josh either wins or loses the podium. Because right now...
The wet tyres.
The wet tyres are your choice, are they?
It's definitely the wet tyres. TTL Maze, Alan Kay, gaming time, definitely wet tyre time.
Here we go. Josh Fletcher is now the man to watch. He could possibly still win this race on strategy. He's got to pass the Gort. He's got to pass Honey Badger. And he's got to pass Hamilton, who's just had a twitch coming through a Rouge to get into second place. And he's got to get past Marquez, who is 15 seconds ahead of GP1 Hamilton. But Josh Fletcher now...
We've got him.
He's right behind Noak, the championship leader. There's not going to be any love in this fight. This is going to be pure and simple passing. Josh wants to regain the lead in the championship. He could possibly do that today. What were you saying, Danny?
I was saying
Oh,
about the
look
battle
at that!
between- Oh, he's
Wow!
passed down the inside. Josh Fletcher down the inside of Noack. So much more grip on these wet tyres. Noack didn't stand a chance.
No, he didn't. Noack seemed to lose a lot of traction there and just let him through. He doesn't want to do that. That's his main championship rival. McLaren versus Mercedes. Used to be McLaren Mercedes. Now it's McLaren versus Mercedes. But we have 3 laps to go in this race. Has Josh got enough pace to catch up to these guys and pass them? Or have they made the right decision by staying out on these tyres? Who shall we sit on board with for a bit until we see a battle brewing? Let's sit. You know what? Let's sit on board with Honey Badger. Give him some more airtime, even though he's had a fair bit of it from starting from 20th position. I can't help but say that because I'm absolutely amazed that he started from the bottom and now he's here in 3rd. I believe that's what the youth would say, wouldn't it?
The youth? You're younger than me, you tell me.
I don't know. I might be younger in age, but I might be a little bit older in mentality right now. Oh, that was an awful joke, that was. Oh, I feel bad for that one.
That's a bit of an insult, really.
Oh, well, in commentary, you gotta fry jokes of each other, or you're just gonna be in a bad position.
I will make you feel awkward.
But Honey Badger, look at the time he's gaining on Hamilton. He can see the Toro Rosso in the distance very clearly. He knows he's closer. He knows he's quicker now. Maybe Honey's been taking care of those tyres a lot more than Hamilton has. So coming into the corner with No Name, but just before Pouon. It's turn 11 here. Oh, he's just keeping... I tell you what, Honey's got a lot more power on these tyres. He seems to have a lot more traction versus Hamilton. Both sat here in stunned silence as we try and work out what's happening with Honey Badger. Is he going to be able to make the move?
I'm just looking at the times for Josh Fletcher. He's gaining times I want to know. I want to see if he's going to get past Gort. I don't think he will. I'm just looking at the times and I'm just watching the times knock down every 10th of a second, 10th of a second, keep going. I don't know. It's what is it now? 4 seconds. 4 seconds behind the Gort. So he's fighting for, is it 4th position?
Unless
Fletcher's going to get 4th.
See, the question is right now, Honey Badger is very close to Hamilton. This could end either both of their races if they had a collision, or it could end in both of them going into the pits. Hamilton having a squiggle there on traction. Honey Badger's going to have a look into turn 1. Not yet. He says, I want to pass you over a difficult bit. I want to pass you through a Rouge. Is he going to do it? Let's find out. Oh, Honey struggling with traction though. Ooh, very close to the wall on the outside of a Rouge, heading towards Radion. Here we go, a Rouge crossing over Radion. Oh, Hamilton cut that corner a little bit. He's got the run. Here comes Honey Badger, the Williams around the outside. Hamilton letting him through, leaving the gap. And Honey Badger into 2nd place. Is Hamilton going to let him? He's let him through because Hamilton might not have the traction left in those tyres. He's been battling a lot versus Josh Fletcher now, who's on fresh wet tyres. He's taking a gamble. Is he going to get past the Gort? Danny, what do you think?
I think he's going to get past the Gort. He's lost. He's come down 2 seconds in half a lap, and there's 2 seconds between them now with a lap and a half to go. It all depends on if Gort's going to defend hard or what. But I think essentially, mate, you've got 4th in the bag. He's right behind him now. He's got this.
He most certainly has. I'm going to pop back on board with this. I just wanted to see where Marquez was as he gets ready to start his final lap. But here comes Josh Fletcher. And what we'll do at the end of the race, we'll try and get the podium in here if we can. I'm not sure who will join. Danny will have to send the invites because he's handling the party. But here we go. Josh Fletcher. He's having a look at extreme wets versus intermediates. Old intermediates versus fresh extreme wets. Oh, this is a section you don't want to get stuck behind the car. You lose a little bit of time, a little bit of traction. Ooh, Oh, Josh is itching to get past. He doesn't like the back end of Mercedes anymore. He's trying to get past Nowak for the championship lead, and he's trying to get past the Gort for 4th place. Oh, is there lag in the lobby?
I think there was a little bit there. He's so much quicker. You can see he's having to lift off. He's behind the Gort and having to lift off. There he is now, another run. Coming up to the bus stop, slings it down the left side. All side by side, going round the chicane.
He's got
just
through
enough
him.
room, and he's in 4th place with 1 lap to go.
He most certainly is. Let's have a look now. Sector 1 and Sector 2. There's been a little bit of an issue. I think that was just a little slide. Oh, I tell you what, Honey Badger. Oh, why has he done that? What did I pressed the wrong button. Honey Badger is now still ahead. Did we miss Honey Badger? Yeah, we have. We missed Honey Badger past Hamilton.
Yeah, we caught it just after En Rouge.
Oh yeah, we did. Sorry, I'm having a blonde moment. So Marquez now on his final lap. He's commanded this race from the lead. That Sauber, he's having a pretty lonely race. Just been sat in the first. No, another time penalty that could cost him. That could cost him 6th place.
Lucky then. He nearly lost that and went into the barrier. He was very lucky. I'd be happy settling with a 3-second time penalty after that.
Alan Kay on Newsy. Here at the final stages of the lap. Still on lap 21. Newsy running a little bit wide on those worn intermediate tyres. Here comes Alan Kay on the first person to go on the extreme wet tyres. The Irishman looking at the back end of that Renault. He wants 11th place. It's not going to be points, but he wants it for pride. Here we go. Oh, not enough. He lifted off through there, actually. He must not be confident in the car. Yes, Jade, you're not the only blonde moment in this league. Here we go. Alan Kay taking a look now at Yuzi. Yuzi so much quicker on the straights. Alan Kay must be getting frustrated by wanting to get past him, but he can't. Tell you what, could you just look at Marquez for me and tell me when he's about to finish his lap? Oh, he has already.
Marquez is finished, and he's got the front left suspension snapped as he crosses over the finish line. So
well done, Marquez. But look who's in P2. It's Honey Badger, the man who started in 20th position. GP1 Hamilton rounds off the podium, and Josh Fletcher, a brilliant 4th. The Gort finishing in 5th, and 11 seconds back is Nowak, championship leader, limping home after a pretty dire race as he comes. Oh, he's struggling on those tyres. Those tyres have had enough. They're down to the carcass. I think he's not very happy with how his race went as he crashes there across the line. I think that proves it. Here comes SFR Chopper in 7th place now. Just getting round to finish the lap. He may get past Noah on penalties here, but he doesn't, unfortunately. Lee Nell's quite a way back, but he's going to finish in the points, which is a good drive from Lee Nell. Well done to everyone in these very tricky conditions. I don't think we'll have time to get the podium in due to starting late, and just of how disorganised we are at this moment. So unfortunately we won't get the podium sitters in. We will, however, get them in next week at the normal time, as normal, once we manage to sort everything out. I do apologise. If you want podium interviews, you might have to have a chat with them yourself. But Alan Kay, there's still a race going on down here at 12th. Is Alan Kay going to have a last lap effort and shove it down the inside of Yuzi from quite far back? I think we now know what Nowak thinks of that race. Oh, Alan Kay, he's lost. He hit the grass, and I think that's it. He gets a 5-second stop-go penalty for barely exceeding track limits, and I think he's had enough of this race as well.
He might not finish this race at this rate. Come on, Alan Kay.
There we go. Brilliant, brilliant race there. Alan Kay in 12th position, finishing the race. Unfortunate. I do think that stop-go penalty was harsh. Caught it on stream. I don't think he cut much of the corner. But your podium here is VSR Marquez. Mark Marquez, as I call him, on the podium where he belongs in that Sauber, with Honey Badger from 20th position in 3rd place, and GP1 Hamilton in 3rd as well. Apparently, Honey Badger in 2nd and Hamilton in 3rd. Brilliant race there. I think one of the best races I've commented on in a while. What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, it was interesting. Who's your driver of the day? I think I've got mine.
I've got to say, I've got to go with Honey Badger for that smashing drive from 20th position.
Got to be Honey Badger. From 20th up to second, no penalties. Well done, mate. Keep sending a pat on the back. That was good racing, that.
Definitely is.
All, the standard of driving in this league, very clean, very nice. Especially Techno Thriller. After watching Techno Thriller for a few laps, even when he come across the track, class. Absolutely.
That was a very good moment where Techno. I think that's possibly the moment that I would pick as my favourite of the race, when Techno just stopped at that point on the apex, just pretty much put the handbrake on to not hit Lee Nell, as he knew that if he came across the track there, he would have taken Lee Nell out. But again, we apologise for a somewhat scattered moment. Hopefully we'll all be sorted by next week for Italy in round 13 of Speed Force Racing. Yes.
Am I unaware of some Speed Force tradition that when you finish the line you've got to drive your car into the wall to smash your suspension to pieces?
Normally not. I believe that maybe the drivers weren't as happy as it could have been with that race. But hey ho, it happened. So... unfortunately, our votes for driver of the day don't really count on stream. It's all up to the people in the chat, and I'm sure they should agree with us for second place being Honey Badger.
I was unaware that you did that, so yeah, so ignore me.
We can say who we want as driver of the day. Doesn't matter about us. Yeah. We're just the pundits who sit here doing the interviews. But as I said during the race. Yeah, Honey Badger, fantastic drive. But as I said during the race, no drivers' interviews this week due to how scattered we've been and how a little bit mental we were getting all set up. But as we head over to Italy next race, I can't highlight it, but Italy at the legendary Monza circuit, we should see a little bit of normality restored once we work out what we're doing after the admin issue we had this earlier today. So, I think it's time we ended the stream and just put behind us a fantastic race here at Belgium. I think one of the best I've commented on. What do you think, Danny?
It's been a pleasure, mate. Anytime, if I'm not working, not doing it, do you know what I mean? Send me a message. I'm more than happy to come and do this again.
All right, mate. I gotta thank you from all the Speed Force for keeping you cool and sitting with us and not swearing.
Fuck off. No, I'm not kidding.
Right at the end as well. All right, everybody.
You gotta do it once, right?
Most definitely. So, that's a good night from JB, and hopefully a good night from you, Danny.
Yeah, you too, mate. Enjoy. Ta-ra, lads.
Ta-ra, everybody. See you in Monza.